Hey guys, it's me Rebecca. So this will be the start of another weekly vlog, and today is Sunday. Now I've really done today's some cleaning and whatnot, and I have done some cleaning. It's been a few weeks since I've vlogged like properly. Like my last vlog, where I felt conflicted about the two books, that was filmed a few weeks ago. And usually when I have to film my wrap-ups, I do take a week off just because. Well, anyway, I'm currently reading Flower Atlas by David Mitchell now, and I started this on Thanksgiving. It is currently December 1st, and I'm on page 249, and I so far am intrigued. Like, I think I mentioned in my November wrap up of me planning to read this. It's like this is 6 interlocking lives, one amazing adventure. In a narrative that circles the globe and reaches from the 19th century to a post-apocalyptic future, David Mitchell races the boundaries of time, genre, and language to offer an enthralling vision of humanity's road to power and moral loneliness. So yeah, we followed several stories, and I like how they kind of were connected to one another in a sense. Like with the first story, a sailor named Adam, uh, he is mentioned in the next, I guess, section or story of this English man whose name I wrote down wrong in my book, in my notes. Sorry, but he found Adam's journal in the collection of this composer he's working with, and or with the story after that, it's the letters he's writing to his friend Sixsmith, and we do get Sixsmith. Like all of these stories are interconnected because of letters and their stories being passed down from the previous generation or previous century to the next, like in some written format or in a movie. Like their story is being told, which I do find interesting. Yeah, but but we do start with Adam Ewing, who is a sailor on a ship in the 1800s, and he's just documenting in his journal his time on board the ship. Like he starts in, I think it's Australia, around that area where he is. I'm not entirely sure that is. Didn't really make sense. Or I was ignorant and I didn't really look up where he is. So yeah, but we see like how he's seeing enslaved people and hearing the stories of the locals, and he asks this doctor who boards the ship to initially help the captain, but ends up helping him like, with an illness Adam has, and what the captain, not what the doctor thinks it is serial, and as well how Adam has to deal with this stowaway on board who was a slave, who's been enslaved on and off for a few years, who wants to have the captain out and to stay on board. And then it seems like we jump like nearly a century later, from what I gathered, to this musician who. Okay, I'm going all over the place. Adam's story is like in the 1890s, around that time. This musician, it seems like in the 1930s, and he has a lot of debt, and he's disowned by his family, and he's writing letters to his friend, a man named Sixsmith, about his time in Belgium as he becomes, I would say, this helper to this blind composer. And the man, he takes the notes that the composers like comment to him, or says like Eustace, like F notes 3 times or something like that, and just writes it down on paper or plays it for him on a piano. So here we see how the man, like, he becomes entangled with the composer's family in a sense. Like he does but I guess develops this feud with the daughter of the composer who doesn't like him, for whatever reason, and as well he has an affair with the man's wife. And yeah, we do see how he does find a portion of Adam's journal, and wants if he can make any money from it. So. And then it seems like we jump to what I presumed was in the 1990s, but I think it was like maybe done like around 1975, I don't remember. With a woman named Louisa Way, who is a journalist, and she ends up stuck in an elevator with Sixsmith, who is a scientist, and he wanted to tell her something, but is unable to as the elevator starts up. He seems to be on the run from this company he works for, as they want to silence him, and Louisa, she wants to break his story to try and get a promotion to prove herself, and yeah, that doesn't end well for either of them, that's all I'm gonna say. And yeah, we move on to this man who I don't really tell. I think this is supposed to be more of our present day, but that's not really mentioned. Named Timothy Cavendish, and with the way Louisa's story is tied to this one, I found it a bit funny because he literally gets like this manuscript from someone who wants to publish it, and it's like the mystery of Louisa Way, which is a bit weird. But Timothy Cavendish, he is an older gentleman, and he's the head of this small publishing house. And his publishing house got a lot of money because they published this autobiography, I think it is. On the writer was killed on like the publishing party thing. And people like come after him for that, and he has to run on. And his brother promises to set him up in some hotel. And on his journey to this hotel, he has a lot of issues with the train system in the sense like no one's driving that train, trains are cancelled, it's a whole shopping. And he gets to the hotel, and his brother put him in an old people home, and he's not happy with that. And yeah, we jump to the future, and we see this like interview between an archivist, and I'm not entirely sure what this person is supposed to be. It's like a server or someone who's like enslaved to be a server for about 12 years, who becomes this student in what I assume was a future version of China. From the fact we do get the Han River mentioned, like I don't know, it's very futuristic, and with that one I did have issues with in the sense like because it's like stuff that is like normal for these people, like they do this stuff, like it wasn't really explained properly, like or not running up. But there was a lot of advancements made in whatnot, and we learn about this I guess student's past, how she met influential people in her story, and how she ended up where she is, which is in jail and on trial. And Timothy, his story was linked, as I mentioned, because of a movie that was made about, well, his story. So yeah, I would say I definitely do like about the fact like all of these stories like are shared from the previous generation to the next, in the sense like somehow their stories survive from letters and journals, and someone taking a fictional account of their lives with news. And I'm guessing with Timothy's, in a sense like they probably change some aspects of that story. But yeah, so far I would say I am intrigued to see what happens next, and we see, I guess, the rest of the stories, because if my calculations are right, we've only seen 5, and there are 6. So what's the 6th story? So yeah, I would say there's a lot of intrigue on my part so far, but yeah, I think that's all for now. So yeah, so it's the next day, and I've just done some reading, and I'm on page 328 of Cloud Atlas, and I got to this section where the language sometimes just went over my head, like, or just wasn't exactly clear. It's like, it was just like, I don't even know what this was, but I just wasn't exactly clear. It slowed me down a bit on my reading, but I don't know, I just wanted to get to the next part, so I did go through, and it's not my favorite section what I read. Like, my favorite, I guess, life we followed, I don't know, but we meet this boy named Zachary, and it's like, it seems like humanity has fallen in some way, and the way Zachary lives, it's like humanity's kind of gone back to the very beginning before the whole electronic thing. In some aspects, like, he lives in this village on an island. It's kind of it shares like land with another group called the Kona, and they seem isolated from the rest of the world. And we first meet Zachary when he sees his father being killed, and he allows his brother to be enslaved by these people. And one day, these new people, Pleasants, I believe they're called, they come to his village on a ship, and a woman called Maranam, I don't know how to say that, I'm so sorry. But she stays in this village, like, and she resides in a spare room in his house, because with the fact his father is dead and his brother's missing, I mean, they do have a spare room, like, they're the only people who have a spare room. And she makes friends with those in the village, like, they seem to very much like her, but Zachary, he doesn't trust her in any ways. And he thinks her people, like, want to enslave his or do something to them. Like, her people send her to learn his people's customs and traditions, their religion, like, whatnot. We do see, like, we do learn that they worship Sunmi, who was the, I guess, main character of the previous section, which I guess is how that one ties in, because other than that, like, nothing knows. And he tries to convince the others what he thinks, and he needs evidence to support his claims and whatnot. And he finds devices that at first it makes this, like, girl appear, and she's very beautiful, and he cannot stop looking at her and whatnot. And then the device, like, gives him a warning that it will be watching him, and Merriman, like, she wants to hike this mountain, and Zachary volunteers to go with her to keep her safe, and he starts to trust her, and for some reason the walks keep telling him to kill her. Like, this section generally doesn't make sense with the writing. I don't know if it's just because a lot of it did go over my head, like, if I'm unused to reading this kind of language or what, but yeah, I did get the gist of it, which is what I'm reading, but honestly, we see, like, Zachary's life kind of, like, ultimate to smithereens. Like, his village is attacked by the Kona, who enslaved the men of the village. He escapes, and seems like something's wrong with her people. I don't know, a lot was going on, but we do kind of get, like, I guess, information or some more, I don't know, like, where the title Cloud Atlas comes from. It's like clouds, they separate, they go into different directions, and it's like how humans, like, we are part of one thing, one, I guess, colony or one thing, I don't know, and then we go in our own separate ways, like, so it is like that. But other than that, like, that section is not my favorite, mainly just because I didn't really care for Zachary, and the language just really it does go over my head. But yeah, so I'm intrigued to see the next section, which is back to Sunmi. So yeah, and yeah, I think that's all for now, so I'll see you in it's the next day, and as you saw, I did go out today. I had to run a few errands and whatnot, and I also did some reading of Cloud Atlas, and now I'm on page 390, and I would say I'm enjoying some of the messages in here. We are back to Sunmi's perspective, and we see how she and, I'm so sorry if I butchered his name, Haijuan, go on the one as her mentor and him, they were part of this union. It seems like, from what I understand, a whole, not concept, but the whole system in this, it's like one big company where there are these workers who are being exploited, and everyone else, and the higher ups or people like purebloods, they are the consumers. They're encouraged to go into consumerism and whatnot. Like, we literally get a scene of this couple, like, they take their daughter's doll and throw it into the ocean because it was either cause it was no longer in style or because they got fed up with the doll and all the like accessories that the doll like required, or that the child wanted, because the doll was so popular. And yeah, both Sunmi and Haijuan, they have to camouflage themselves. Like, they have these like soul trackers in order like they can be tracked. And I mean, with Haijuan, who is a pureblood, he does have it. With Sunmi, she has like this ring that makes her pureblood, right? And she also has to get like some cosmetic surgery stuff done. No, I don't think that's ever properly explained how. Like, what exactly happens, and I'm glad for that. But yeah. But it's mainly because her features it would make her look. It would be clear that she's not pureblood, that she's like a fabricant and a server. So they have to do with that, and his plans. His plan was to use fabricants against their creators, as they're the ones like doing the work in a factory, processing sewage, and doing the jobs that people just don't want to do. It's like kind of having them not do their jobs, and really like no one does any work. So, and yeah, he takes her onto this ship, and she sees what happens to the servers after they complete their 12 years of servitude. How they're taken onto the boat and are essentially killed in this like slaughterhouse setting, and how the bodies are used to make soap that Fabricant eats. And so she writes her like declarations, like a manuscript of some sort, and gives it to Adrian. And then she's like arrested. That's all. Her entire story is like in a matter of days, it seems like. No, not days, but. And she is put on trial, which she knows isn't new. It's like, it was more of a show to make people distrust fabricants. Her purpose, really, in participating in a whole thing, is to have her declarations widespread, to have children learn about them and whatnot. Because it's like the start of her becoming a goddess of some sort, and we do see how it is widespread, and to make people know her stories, her purpose, her goal. And I do like she finishes her story by asking the archivist who's interviewing her to just allow her to finish the movie about the movie's life, which is, I find, a bit funny. Like, she wants to know the end of the story, end of his story. So, but yeah, we jump back to his story, and we see how he has this like stroke that just affects him for a while. It affects his memory, like he doesn't remember what day it is, who he is, and he seems to recover from that. He makes a couple of friends with this older couple, and it seems like the head nurse is deliberately like. Apparently, she deliberately caused his stroke by putting some medicine in the food he was eating. And this was just to try and prevent him from escaping and to punish him for his previous attempts. And I don't know, the whole old people home, nursing home. It seems like a quite toxic environment because he sneaks into her office to like at night to use the phone, where he learns like his brother is dead from a drowning and his sister-in-law isn't making sense at all, and she catches him, and she has everyone in the nursing home like shame him. It's like, what the fuck is this? So yeah, for using the phone to make a phone call, like, I don't know. Yeah, so far I think I'm intrigued, and I do like really the most part on how the stories are connected, like with people knowing the other person's story and really like, anyway motivating them, because with Zachary he was motivated by Sunny, and with Timothy he does have like this manuscript someone wrote of like a fictional account of like, I think it's like the first mystery of Louisa Way, and Timothy can help but imagine like helping the author and getting close to the author. Like that's what's motivating him. So I'm very much intrigued, and yeah. And as I did mention, I did go out, and as you did see, I did go to this like used bookstore that it seems like it's to help the students in the town kind of like develop skills, which is pretty cool. And it was, if you live somewhere near, it's in a central connected area, it's called The Next Chapter. So yeah, but I did get 2 books. The first one being The Children on a Hill by Jennifer Mahone. I've read 2 books by this author before, The Winter People and The Invited, and I enjoyed both pretty much. And this is, it looks like something similar to her other novels. It's like dual timelines. It's a reimagining of Frankenstein in 1978 at her renowned treatment center in Vermont. The brilliant psychiatrist Dr. Helen Hildreth is acclaimed for her compassionate work with the mentally ill, but at home with her cherished grandchildren, she's this Gwen. One day, Gwen brings home a child to stay with the family, Iris, and her granddaughter, who invites Iris to ride their bikes together, go on the drive-in, join her and Eric, the brother, Monster Club, where they catalog all kind of things and dream up ways to defeat them. Because, as we explains, monsters are everywhere. And in 2019, we follow Lizzie Shelley, who's the host of this popular podcast, who's on her way to Vermont, where a young girl had been abducted and a town is in an uproar over a possible monster sighting. Lizzie is determined to hunt it down because she knows better than anyone that monsters are real, and one of them is her own sister. So, yeah, very much intrigued about that. And the other one is Mary by Nat Cassidy, and I believe this is about a woman who she goes through changes, and it's like menopause for one of her doctors try to convince her, and she starts having visions and hearing like voices and whatnot. So yeah, I'm very much intrigued about this one. So yeah, I think that's all for now. So I'll see. So it's the next day and it's quite gloomy. Yeah, but I did go out today. I had to run some errands. I just didn't really film anything because I didn't want to walk outside because I'm a grandma, even though I live in the northeast. Like, yeah, I have done some reading of Cloud Atlas, and I'm on page 456, and I would say I am liking the book overall. Like, it's an interesting time, but I don't know, it definitely feels like more like a separate stories rather like it often are connecting stories, which I think I expected, but I don't know, I think that's the point really, like the because it's like from I guess a different generation or yeah, a different century really. Like, those stories become the stories of the future and whatnot. That's the point I guess. Yeah. But we do see how Timothy, alongside the two friends he has, Ernie and Veronica, escape. Like the whole thing is like taking the car of this guy who visits his mom because he's hoping his mom will tell him where she hid the diamonds, and he has a habit of leaving his keys in the car because it's like to know people home might be interested in anything. All craziness, locking the evil nurse in the room, and then yeah, and they do escape, and Ernie and Veronica, they go up to Scotland in a central loop, and Timothy learns that his office was vandalized from the guys he was running from, and the bank took this as an opportunity to seize the building it's in, which was converted into a hard rock cafe. And his publishing company is now on in a office or living room of someone's nephew. But it seems like things have also turned around for him because financially he is doing better. The book he published was like Hollywood bought the rights to it and is making it a film. So, and he also got in touch with the author of the mystery of Louisa Ray, who turned out to be a man. I can see why he thought it was a woman because their name was Hillary V something. V was for Vincent. But yeah, and we jump back to Louisa's like perspective, who somehow survived the accident that the hitman caused. He drove her car into the ocean, really. But her copy of the reported Sixsmith World is lost and destroyed. She feels this like weird connection to Robert Frobisher, who is the guy helping that composer. Like she's like obsessed with him. She once listened to the recording he created, which is called Cloud Atlas Sextet. And she thinks she feels like in connection to him due to sharing the birthmark. Like when she and Joe Nepler, who was a former security guard at the company they're trying to take down, go to Sixsmith's boat. She feels like something, like some sensation in her birthmark, which is interesting. But yeah. And the newspaper was brought out, and it seems like this company is trying to silence Louisa because they did buy the newspaper company she works for. They didn't buy it directly, they use connections they have to have people buy it, and essentially she is the only one who is fired. And we really need to see her, she's trying to hunt down the other copies of the reported Sixsmith World, and how it ends with like people trying to try and kill her. Like someone who works at the company wants to be the one who exposes what the company is doing. Someone who was hired by someone in the company to kill her tries to kill her. Like it's a whole thing, and she is able to expose like the story went on. And when she does it, she's like, it's no longer my problem. Like the bigger fish, there's bigger players involved now, so and she's out of it for now, and really that's it for her perspective. So yeah, so far like I don't know, I do like Elizabeth stories and kind of the, I guess in a way fictional telling, because she does mention about her being a mystery or someone writing a mystery about her. I don't know, it was some throwaway comment which I thought was a bit funny, but yeah, I mean, I don't have many feelings towards it. Like I'm not like just taking it as we go, and I don't know. So far, I'm enjoying the journey of really unraveling everyone's story. Like I'm curious to see how Publisher's story ends and Adam Ewing's story ends. So yeah. But yeah, I think that's all for now, so I'll see you when I. So it's the next day and I've just done some cleaning and whatnot. We did get some snow where I live, so I did have to shovel, and it was already a bit heavy. Discuss it did rain a bit, so it always makes it a bit heavy. But yeah, it is what it is. But I have done some reading, and I did finish Cloud Atlas, and overall I did enjoy it. I'm gonna give it a 4-star. I liked it really, like, I guess the individual stories and people in some ways finding their way, and that's really like, seeing the stories of these people in some way, I guess, have a connection with one another. So yeah. We do go back to Frobisher, and we see how like the composer he's working for is he did take a turn for the worse slightly. Like he got more ill, he was bedridden, he wasn't able to work at all, which did give Frobisher time to work on his own music. And we also learn more of his past. Really, that he had this brother named Adrian, who died in the First World War, and his parents he disgrace to his brother's memory. Like they're ashamed of him for what he wants and for what he does, and yeah, we see how that affects him. We also see how Ava is nicer, kinder to Frobisher when she returns from school in Switzerland. Like really, she's just nicer overall. Like, she's changed, and he thinks like from some of the things she said to him that she's in love with him. And he, I guess, makes himself believe that he's in love with her, and I say believe because later on he doesn't admit who he's actually in love with. Like I guess to himself and to Sixsmith, who he's writing a letter to. And we also see how the composer, when he gets better, like how Frobisher reacts to learning that the composer's gonna take all of the fucking credit for all of the work they've done. Like he's not gonna give any credit to Frobisher at all. Say he co-authored it, and when Frobisher threatens him or threatens to do something about it, like the composer, he does have a reputation and he does have some say compared to Frobisher, because Frobisher, he's more of an inspiring musician, while the composer, he does have some credibility to his name, and he does threaten Frobisher and say that he will ensure that he will be blacklisted by everyone in the music scene in Europe. Like no venue or fair or anyone really will want to work with him or have him at their place. And really like, fed up with this, finally Frobisher, he leaves in the middle of the night. It's nothing, and we do see that he read some things wrong completely, that Ava's not in love with him, that she found love in Switzerland, and now she has a fiance. So yeah, but yeah, Frobisher, he does his work, he finishes the Cloud Atlas sextet, and he decides to kill himself, I guess, because he realizes that the composer will keep his word and ensure that Frobisher is blacklisted, that he won't ever, I guess, make his parents proud of, find a way to be ashamed of him. He will never live up to his own goals and dreams. Like I don't really know why. It's not really explained properly why, but he decides to kill himself, and he does it like nicely in a way, like he like to ensure that no maid is shocked, and he doesn't think it's really selfish. It's more he does give Sixsmith like his finished piece, and he wants him to publish and ensure his parents don't get their hands on it at all. And I do like the last section of Frobisher's like part where it's like he thinks his story, his life, it will end and then it will repeat itself. Like it's a cycle that will never end, that will constantly repeat itself over and over and over again. So I don't know, I just like that idea. And our last section is we pick right back up with Adam Ewing, where we left him literally in the middle of a sentence. But he's captain, like they dock, I think in Hawaii, and they make friends with the locals, and they hear the preacher and how he believes that the human race were on a ladder. Some races are better than others, some races are worse than others, but the whites, they're on top with the angel Saxon, I believe it is, are on top. That's his belief. And certain races are above and others, while ones at the very bottom he considers this to be pure savages. And we also see how Adam, he himself, he's getting sicker and sicker, and we do learn that the doctor, who was apparently his friend, who was supposed to be helping him, well, he was deceiving him. He was making Adam sicker and trying to find like some papers about land, and trying to make more money, and he gets what he wants and he leaves. Like, he was intentionally poisoning Adam slowly, and Adam, he just, get off the ship, and he gets better, and he becomes a bit of a philosopher. Like, now he's trying to end slavery after seeing like what the people in Hawaii and people in other places that go through, and it's really because he wants his son to inherit a better future. He doesn't want his son to really work that hard to build a future. He wants to help his son when he can, and yeah, I don't know, I like that I did. Like how the people, like, they inspired one another in some ways. So yeah, I think that's all for my thoughts for now, and tomorrow I'll let you know what book I'm reading next, because it's already downstairs and I forgot to bring it up, so yeah, I'll see you when So it's the next day, and I've just been out running some errands, and when I did some of my grocery shopping, and it was quite chilly today, and quite windy, because my word, and I'm not making it on purpose, but I'm just playing up with my nose, because that's how prepared I am. I don't know, I've just had something going on with my stomach, so, but yeah, but I started a secret history of witches, and I'm on page 58, and this is really this like sweeping historical saga that traces 5 generations of fiercely and powerful mothers and daughters. Witches host magical inheritance is both a dangerous threat and an extraordinary gift. Yeah, but so far we are currently like in the 1800s. We do kind of get two not timelines, but yeah, 2 different times, but they're like 13, 14 years apart. But we start the novel in the earlier point of time, which is the 1800th year is... why am I like this? 1821. And we follow this family. They're like a tavern, like they travel all around, like they don't stay in one place at a time, and we follow them as the matriarch of the family, the head witch is grandmother. She is performing a ritual, and they're like not doing it openly. Like, of course they can, because this is a time of witch hunts and whatnot. But like in the dead of night, and behind him, and we learn that that this family is worried about a witch hunter and priest named Father Bernard, who he's obsessed with finding witches and kind of getting, I guess, his revenge, because his mother had a growth on her chest, and he accused his neighbor of being bewitching, casting a curse, a spell on her, causing her to grow. And he wasn't able to burn her. Like, he made sure that she was found guilty of being a witch, but he wasn't able to burn her as she died in prison. So now he's been obsessed with witch hunting ever since. So, yeah. But shortly after the ritual, the grandmother dies. I guess it was just her time. And then we jump on 14 years later, and the grandmother, before she died, she gave this prophecy of this like farm in Cornwall. It's like a one-down farm, and they were able to find it, and yeah, it was one down, and it took them a few months to like, make it proper for the soil to be able to grow and whatnot. But, and like outwardly, like they look like ordinary people. Like the locals, they don't really like not accept them fully. Like they accept them somewhat, but they are still outsiders just because the majority of the family cannot speak English at all. They speak French, I believe. Except for the youngest daughter, whose name is like Nanette or something like that. I could not pronounce it. And they send her out to the market to like sell the products that the other girls make, like the other sisters make, like potions, simple like stuff that can help people without them like knowingly like, oh, it's witchcraft, it's this, like, I guess. And what I find interesting is the way magic is passed down in this novel is that it's passed down from mother to daughter and not like mother to son or something. Yeah. And it seems like the line is dying as the older four sisters. I think there's 3 sisters who are older than Nanette. They all had sons, and none of their sons have magic. And the men of their husbands, they don't want them to practice their craft. They want the craft to die down when they die, just because it's already dying, might as well kill it. And we also learned that the older 3, they cannot cast spells like their grandmother, because their mother didn't have any magic. It seems like the only gift she had was producing daughters. Like, it seems like the magic skipped the generation for some reason. But yeah, they're able to do other things like create potions, simples, have dreams, like prophecies in their dreams, I guess, or except the youngest, Nanette, who when she does turn 14, I believe it is, and when she gets her period, she comes into her magic, and she's for some reason the only one who is able to cast spells. Like, not sure, but she is able to temporarily get rid of the witch hunter, which is causing them problems. And yeah, and one of her sisters like dreams of her meeting a man when she does, and she falls pregnant with his child, and like he abandons her, so the child's like out of wedlock. The others like, you know, they look at her they look at her mom like this is like the 1830s, so it's like a sin for her to be a pregnant woman without a husband. And her friend at the market's like, you can say you're a widow or something, and it's like, no, I don't want to lie. Yeah, the other locals, they tolerate her even less because like they don't really accept her because she wasn't born in Cornwall, and now she doesn't have a husband to look after her, and she did have to. And now she has to deal with the witch hunter who is back, and because Anne is threatening to take her child from her threatening to take the child from her when they're born, because the child should have 2 parents and not someone who is a devil or a devil or something. And it's really just to protect the child, it seems like, but really it seems like to punish her and her sins. So yeah, I'm very much intrigued about where that will go, what the other witches will do, because it seems like after he leaves, they're all drawn to the cave where they practice their magic, or they practice their craft, and they're drawn to it. Like, it seems like for some reason Nanette is the most powerful. Like, she even has this familiar, which is a cat. So yeah, I'm very much intrigued to see like why it's her that has all of the magic and not like her older sister. Like, if it was this luck or one on both. Yeah, I'm very much intrigued about that. I'm also intrigued to see like the other generations and what they will be dealing with, because I do like the fact it is bringing up like social issues, I guess. Somewhat at the time, like, I mean, for her it's like things are different. For her it's less acceptable in the eyes of God and wanted to have a child out of wedlock, like. But yeah, so far intrigued. And I have to say, I love the writing. Like, for some reason, the writing for some reason feels like I should be reading it in winter, if that makes sense. I don't know, this is what my mind is telling me. So yeah, I think that's all for now. That's all for my thoughts for now. So I'll see you. I went to this like church craft fair, holiday fair sort of event, and there they did have a bit of like an attic treasure room, I guess it is, which is like a tag sale. But yeah, I did get two things. One is a book I got Beowulf, which is an English classic and describes the thrilling adventures of a great Scandinavian warrior of the 6th century. So yeah, very much intrigued about this, and also I just feel like I kind of have to read it. It is apparently the first true masterpiece of English literature, and I just felt like I had to. And I also got this picture, which I'm putting like on the wall next to my bookcase down here. So yeah. And I have done some reading of A Secret History of Witches, and I am very much enjoying this one. I'm on page 116, and you start seeing, like, I guess the new generation, like the generation where it's like, they feel somewhat safe. Like, I think I mentioned yesterday, magic is passed from mother to daughter, and Nanette, she does have a daughter, and they also are able to deal with Father Bernard in a way that, like, makes him leave them alone permanently. And we do jump a bit in forward in time to seeing Ned's daughter become as a young child and as a teenager, and it seems like her aunts, they wanted to keep her in ignorance. Like, she's no longer wanting, she's in a place where she's safe, where she can be normal. Like, I think when they're showing her their craft from one of the aunts, Louisetta, I believe that's how you say. But she thought that the craft would die with Ursula, or Ursula, which is the name of Nanette's daughter, and Nanette purposely did that because, like, just to pass down that name as long as she's also going to be passing down her magic, so yeah. And yeah, they wanted to keep her like, and as well, if she doesn't freeze into one. And when Ursula sees them practice their craft, she can't bring herself to recognize these women because they look and behave so differently to what she's used to, and she personally feels like the craft's outdated. Like, she sees herself as this modern woman who's advanced, and I mean, she doesn't seem to really have a belief in anything in particular. Like, she does attend like the school in the town, but she doesn't seem like to truly believe the teachings of the preacher there, of the so she doesn't believe in the god she's being taught, and she doesn't believe in the goddess that her family believes in. So it seems like she might have the gift, but I don't think she does, because she does tell Nanette at one point she doesn't feel anything from the crystal that was her great-grandmother's. So yeah, it seems like, as well, speaking of magic, that over time Nanette's powers have faded and, like, they're gone permanently. She's able to cast some spells, but they're not so strong as they once were. So I'm not sure if that's, like, with time, or some sacrifice she made, or if it's like kind of like a consequence to some action. Like, I don't know. But, and we do see, like, one of the other ones warns Ursula that magic has a price, and I guess Nanette paid by being with Ursula's father. It seems like a month, I'm not sure. Yeah. And you know, you really just see how members of the family, like, they pass on from this life. So, like, first it's the men who died, leaving the women all alone, and they do worry, like, what people will think of them, because they're just 6 women, 5 women and a child living alone in this house, so people will talk. Also, she doesn't really seem to realize the true nature of things, because she just thinks her family are hermits. Like, they never went out into town. Everything was just her and her mother who did. They don't seem to try and really make an attempt to be part of this new society. Like, to them, they are still in France. They're no longer where they no longer are. They just seem to refuse to admit the fact, like, their things have changed and things will never be when like they once were. So yeah, that is also interesting to see, and as well seeing like how when the women start dying, like it's like so slowly, like one by one, and it's like suddenly, like when the oldest sister dies, it's like the other must be like their age, and they slowly actually seem to be their actual age. Like backs that were once straight are more bent, and hands that were once stable are now like quite shaky with tremors. Like it's just seeing like these changes in the women. Like, I guess the way it's described quite suddenly. Yeah, and with when it's just Nanette and Ursula, like, Nanette is worried about Ursula because Nanette knows she's gonna die and leave Ursula all alone, and she doesn't want that. She doesn't want her daughter to live like a hermit, and even or be in solitude really. And even though Ursula cannot imagine like sharing the farm with anyone else, she promises or tells her mother she can get married, and she doesn't have to love the person, but it's like this so she can have company, so she can I guess give comfort to her mother. Like she's not gonna be all by herself in this big house, because it must have been a pretty big house to house like all of these people. Like, so yeah. And she, even if she doesn't show like outwardly signs of magic, she does have a gift. It seems like she does have a gift for working with the animals. It's something she's really good at, and you know, like seeing that with Ursula, and yeah, seeing how it doesn't seem like she likes change. Like she's a creature of habit. Like things have always been the way they were, and when she's offered, like, because like with all of the family dying, like the bedrooms downstairs, they're available, and she's living in this attic room where, because of her height, she has to like kind of bend down to get around, and it's like this quite inconvenient, it seems like, and it's like not very spacious. Like instead of an entire wardrobe, she's hanging herself on like two whales. Like, so yeah, she has the opportunity to kind of make her space bigger, but she doesn't want to, because it's like this is all she's ever known, and it's she feels comfortable, and it's like she's so used to it. She doesn't seem like to be a person who likes change. So yeah, and now it seems like her mother is keeping secrets. Like her mother went up to the cave where they practiced their magic, and she did something, and she promises to tell her so, but she's like, I'm tired. I'll tell you another time. Like, but yeah, I'm just like in seeing how Ursula, like, she seems to she is in a place where she is safe, and it doesn't seem like the preacher, the father in this town, who was outwardly like outwardly. Oh my word, is the term? I'm trying to think of something that's not. There's tension between him and Nanette when Nanette refused to give up her daughter after she was born, and calls her the devil, or a bunch of other things, and he seems frightened of her mother, of Nanette, I mean. And also, like, he's now openly, like, there's no tension with them. It seems like he's not confrontational. It's on the top of my tongue what I want to say, but it's not there, which is annoying me, but yeah, it's like she has this sense of like security in her life. Like she doesn't have to worry about a witch hunter coming to track her down on like her family. So things have definitely started to change with this generation, and I guess very much intrigued to see how those changes will go. If there will be more, like if it will be like a back and forth of like the women feeling unsafe versus them feeling safe, or yeah, I'm just very much intrigued. But yeah, but that is all from me with this vlog. And so if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you comment below telling me what you've been up to recently, if you want to, please subscribe to the channel. And if you want to follow me on any social media, then all those things are in the down bar below. I'll see you guys next time I post a video.